welcome back to the 360 Perspective podcast with me, Trisha. So good to have each one of you back. This is episode, I think, number 3. Yes, back at it again, and I hope that you guys have been loving the different topics that we've been exploring. And yeah, would love to also hear from you. What other topics would you love for us to explore? But today, being one day post Valentine's Day, I think it's safe to say Happy Valentine's. There are those ones who maybe you were taken out. There are those ones who you waited to be taken out, but nothing happened. And then there are those ones we were told we plant our flowers, like 2 months ago. And then there are those ones who got ghosted. And that's our topic for today, ghosting. And to just go through this topic with me is an old friend. His name is Jay. Karibu sana, Jay.
Asante sana.
And I'll let you introduce yourself, and you'll patia all the details. It's one day post Valentine, so
yes.
Give us your details about yourself.
Asante, thank you. My name is Jay Muia. An older friend, old friend of Trish. And 8 to 5, I have an office job. But apart from that, I am a teacher. I am a father. I am a husband. I am an author. I'm an adventurer, and quite a number of things packaged into one. So,
yes. That one I absolutely agree, including hiking, because we've hiked before with a group of friends. So Jay, leo nataka tuongea about a very common topic here in these streets.
Yes.
And I know some people are simmering from the after effects
yes.
Of Valentine's Day, with great expectations. It's been 2 days post. And no replies, blue ticks too.
My friend, with great expectations comes great disappointments.
Hey, me, I've been one of those who's been heartbroken before during Valentine's Day. Okay, really, it wasn't Valentine's Day, but I have suffered. I've been on the receiving end of ghosting.
Yes.
When I had all these expectations and I thought, things are going perfectly.
Yeah.
I even showed up with, birthday gifts.
Yes.
Only to get surprised.
My friend.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's when people make like ancestors and become ghosts.
I thank God it was years back. So at least now we can talk about it because you're fully healed.
Yes.
But I don't know about you, whether you have done the ghosting or you have been ghosted.
I think I've been on both sides of the spectrum.
So
I am well experienced.
Okay. So I think it would be safe, first of all, let's start off by defining what ghosting is.
Okay. So for me, I think ghosting is the act of someone just suddenly disappearing on you without letting you know why exactly they've disappeared. And this is more or less in a relational situation.
Yes.
Where you're talking with this person, okay, yes, there are ups and downs, but then at one point the person just starts diminishing. So sometimes it's a fade, sometimes it's just like a cold turkey cut off.
Yeah.
And you're wondering, are you okay?
Yeah, they vanished, they died, they got knocked off by a car, they traveled. You're left with all sorts of assumptions.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, sometimes it doesn't necessarily have to be even particularly like, a relationship like you've defined. It's the relationship. And then there's like there's a level of mutual understanding among the two of you. Whether it's at the friendship level or, you're kind of like talking, getting to explore things before you take it to the next level. And then out of nowhere, you're given blue ticks. I know the other day someone was saying, thank you for giving me blue ticks because my favorite color is blue.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Actually, and by relationship, we now define it more broadly now, like the way we are saying the sense of either friendship or a mutual agreement or something that both of you, because people do get ghosted as friends.
It's true.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I've also had the friends one, and you're left wondering, okay, what did I ever do? Can you at least give me a sign? Tell me something. Don't leave me clueless.
Yeah.
Wondering what did I ever do to you as a friend, because you've like out of nowhere just cut me off from your life without any explanation whatsoever. Especially because now ghosting happens when you try to reach out to this person, whether you try calling them, messaging them, nothing.
No response,
replies.
no picking, nothing. Yes. Yeah, that's what happens. And I know we make a joke about cutting off people in the new year.
Every new year, there's
Every new
always a
year we
list.
will have that resolution and list. And unfortunately now it becomes actualized in a very, I would say, in a not caring manner.
Yeah,
Because the person being ghosted is still human with feelings.
it's true.
But then again, the person ghosting also might have very different motivations, which are not necessarily bad.
Which is very interesting, because I'd love to explore that topic. Why do people ghost?
Yeah. Good. And first of all, let's just put it on the ground that both men and women do ghost.
Yes.
Because every time people talk about ghosting, it always feels
The
like
men.
it's the men
Yes.
who... And I can't say that the men don't ghost more than the women, because I think, in my experience, men seem to tend to ghost more.
Yeah, but I think it's also cultural, you know, depending on the cultural setting.
Yeah.
I don't know, like in Africa, okay, from my experience, sometimes I feel like in our current setting, like here in Kenya or in Africa, from at least my own personal experience, I find men are a bit avoidant, you know, they don't like confrontation.
Yes.
I've been on that receiving end of ghosting instead of let's have this conversation. You know, yes, either way, whether you ghost me, I'll get hurt. You know, whether you tell me you're not interested, I'll get hurt nonetheless. So bottom line is I will get hurt. So I would rather be hurt and maintain a mutual friendship of, you know, okay, yeah, you're not interested in me, rather than, you know, you ghost me and I'm hurt and I'm wondering whatever happened to you. I mean, to save that friendship, for the sake of my dignity, bye-bye. Let's just end that friendship.
It's good you've used the word avoidant, because then that brings us to that issue of personality types. Is it attachment styles?
Yes.
Psychologically, as in, we know human beings sort of fall under 4 particular attachment styles. That's, I think, the secure one.
Yes.
There's the anxious one, the avoidant one, and the disorganized one. So that particular avoidant attachment style is people who do not want any type of conflict. Their go-to way of solving issues is just avoid, as in, whatever you do, don't... It drains them. It takes away so much energy from them that they decide, okay, there's conflict here, or I'm not feeling this story anymore. And if I go and start talking about saying that, you know, this story is going downhill, there will be questions, and I'm trying to avoid conflict.
I don't know. Either way, conflict will still be there.
It will still be there.
It will still be there.
But you see, for avoidant people,
for them, in their minds,
if they can't see the conflict, it's not there.
Okay.
Yes,
that's in their head, registering in their head.
Yes.
But vitu kwa ground ni different.
Ni different, because the day you will meet, there will be conflict.
Yes.
But and so those are the type who will even also try to avoid any space where the other person is. You've had people even changing churches.
Yeah, or ducking. You see them coming and, you know, you chop a kakona, you pretend you're on phone and you've not even seen them the whole entire time.
Yes.
Just to avoid confronting them, or just, that confrontation.
Yes. Some people even go to the extent of changing phone numbers and stuff like that in very extreme cases.
Yeah.
And I think also the anxious one is not too far, because now they are anxious, as in the relationship has a lot of anxiety. So I think both avoidant and anxious personalities tend to take ghosting as a way of solving the issue for them in their mind. That is solving, as in...
That's true. And it's both ladies and
it's both
and
ladies
men.
and yes.
Yeah.
And then for men now speaking as myself, I think there's usually that aspect of feeling like you want to let down the person easily. Like, okay, I'm not feeling this, or there's conflict, I don't want to confront this person, but so let me avoid them, let them just go on with their lives, they will be okay. But now, because you never look at it in terms of, by me not talking to this person,
They're not moving on.
yes. But you see, that's something as a man I need to be told. I don't know it naturally.
Wow. Ladies, you
I
heard
know
that?
we are expected to know. But as I keep saying, there is a lot of things we do not know that we are taught to know.
Okay.
Yes. And but apart from the personality, or rather the
But I think that's the
attachment
part
styles,
where the other person tries to reach out to just get an opportunity to have a conversation, but then you've blocked them out. So how are they supposed to tell you?
so because there are other reasons. Now that's one of them.
Uh-huh.
The other reasons, like I think there are people who just stop feeling anything for this person. It's for men, it's easy, by the way. Let me just put it out there. It's easy to just decide, oh, okay, switch off, move on.
Wow.
That should even explain on a very serious note how men are able to wake up, leave their families and go, like never come back. Compartmentalize that, as in it's
Zero attachment.
zero attachment. It's possible. It's possible. There's also, I think, issues of trauma. There are people who sometimes, I think, solving issues head on reminds them of something. So instead of going through with trying to solve it the way it's supposed to be solved, they prefer to let it simmer, let it,
Yeah.
yes,
Let it disappear naturally.
let it disappear. But now, as in, as for both men and women, as in, anytime someone stops talking to you and there was something that was going on, or something that both of you are moving on towards, whether it's friendship or a relationship or anything, anyone would be left with questions, as in, what's wrong with me? What have I done? Yes. So in whichever way it happens, it has its reasons why it happens, but also the adverse effects on the other person are dire and they cannot be wished away.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, wow, those are interesting explanations or reasons that you've given. But I think we did not add the cheating is also part of the reason why.
How?
What do you mean how? Like I remember for me, my experience, like this guy, honestly, he should have just been, I don't know, like I think there are people who, for me, I'd consider them a bit selfish, you know. They're keeping you on the edge, you know,
Yeah,
having conversations with you,
and
leading
they
you on,
are-
like they're interested, but then they have somebody
They are
akona mtu.
They are widening scope.
So you don't know you're the side dish. You're there, you know, like giving your all.
See now,
Because I
like,
think for me that was my experience. Because by
Yeah.
the time I'm coming to find out, hey, Kume, this guy is already like this guy
in a
was
different-
legit in a relationship.
yes.
But all along, like, would go out on dates, and I'm thinking, okay, you know, like there's something going on. So really, by the time for me, I'm getting to find it was actually a white guy, some white boy. I feel like after
then-
that, I was just like, maybe I'm done with
And
white
you
guys.
thought white boys are very well behaved.
I thought so. But I think by the time I was showing up, like with my gifts for his birthday and whatnot, the guy is like MIA.
Yes.
1 week goes by, he's MIA. By the time I'm going to ask like a colleague of his,
Yeah.
I'm being told, wow, you don't know he went for a cruise vacation with a
Where?
girlfriend.
My friend.
And I was like, what?
Trauma.
What? That time I have messaged him. First of all, I messaged, you know, like this beautiful birthday message. And
Yeah.
after that, no reply. After that, I'm like, hey, how are you? Nothing. Are you okay? Nothing. After a week, like you literally everything, all mediums, you
Yeah.
know, social media platforms, you know, you try to reach out to him, zero reply. So I think by the time for me, I'm getting to discover that, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like
Yes.
you should have said something, like reply my messages and I don't know, like find a way of breaking my heart. I'd rather deal with
Yes.
that
Yeah.
rather than me finding out and then you thinking that, you know, because I think after that the guy was clueless that I'd found out about it. So he came back into my life as if, you know,
It just waltz back.
we are good.
Like what's up?
Yeah. So I think there's also that
Definitely.
category of people who I think
Definitely.
it's selfishness and also just lack of honesty and integrity.
And you see the interesting thing also about sometimes how men also approach some of these things. You know, the way when you're going to shop for, let's say, cosmetics. And I'm not saying that because you're a lady, as in I'm just giving it as an example. Because like in Nairobi, the cosmetics shop are all Dubois.
It's true.
They are
of
all
them.
on one street. So you will not just go to the first shop and buy.
Yeah.
You'll first come and ask, how much are earrings? 100 shillings. Okay, hold that thought. Next shop, how much are earrings? 90 shillings. Okay, hold that thought.
Oh, wow.
Next one, how much are earrings?
Wow.
120. Come back to the
Really?
90. So sometimes, and this is a number of times, men do tend to, it's like tentacles, as in like, let me talk to
testing the
this one
waters.
and this one and this one, and
See
try to see
where-
where the best bargain is. And until
Ladies,
some
habari ndio hiyo.
yes, until some end up talking to a group of friends, and the friends end up talking, and they're like, he sent you the same message. He was saying this to you. So, and then they find out, okay, so this guy is really doing this to all of us. The same good night message is sort of broadcast to 3 or 4 of you. And it's
And anyway, it's not just men. I think of late even ladies
yes,
have been
yes.
picking up the trend.
Yes. So now there is that, and it's a human trait. It's a human character trait. It's not even it's not a strange thing. So that also explains that nini of ghosting, cause at one point you can't concentrate on 4 people at the same time. Yeah, as in one will
Your
have to
interest
crack.
peaks, yes.
Yes,
Your interest
one-
peaks on one.
Yes, and
It
because
picks up on one person.
this person had not put it in their mind that I'm only interested in this, pursuing this one until it either works or doesn't work, then it becomes a bit like discard the others a bit, like
Hey,
vapor.
so in short, you were discarded.
Yes,
Wow.
discard.
Wow. Okay.
And then you see, like now for your example, this person thinks, okay, you're still in this cocoon. You don't know what I'm pursuing on this other side. So I'll just come back and start where we had left it.
There's a hot fire waiting for such people in heaven, eh?
And you see, even as adults, there's still that a rudimentary level, if we don't consciously work towards growing out of,
Yeah.
you can stick in that level up to the end of your life.
Yeah.
And that level involves not knowing what you're doing to other people, not knowing how to handle people's hearts and minds and lives, irrespective of what you feel about them.
Yeah.
Because you could have very minimal feelings about a person, but they're still a human being.
Yeah, they are.
Yes.
They are. And I think it's also important to talk about just the effects of trauma, like, I mean, the trauma, the after effect of ghosting,
Yes,
especially on the other person.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the bit where professional ghosters.
Yes.
But you said in a conversation you were having, you've been on that end of, ghosting people.
Yes.
We call you people professional ghosters.
Yes.
But I think it's important for people who are in that habitual habit, or in that habit of ghosting others to realize that there's an effect, there's an after effect that is left on the people who on the receiving end.
Absolutely. And you see, like now for me, how I came to know it's because someone told me. As in sometimes you might think someone actually knows the effect that they are having, but they are absolutely as clueless as a man. So by the fact that a friend came and told me, when you do this is what happens. And for me, because I know I was dealing with an avoidant attachment style, which I've had to work through professionally, like as in with a therapist. But without knowing that, as in it's possible for someone to just keep on being a very professional ghoster. And for me, because it was not only as in terms of friendships or relationships, even with authority, with work based associations, as in it would be, this is not going right. I don't have that energy, as in I really don't want to face this person. Yes, I don't have the capacity. As in even thinking about it would drain me. And in a very serious way. But at the end of the day, you see now, like where I am at right now, I will still think about it, and something will make my heart skip, like as in I'll become anxious and feel like I really need to avoid this. But then tell myself, you're trying to practice to stop being avoidant. Because it's like riding a bicycle, as in there are things which you only become by practicing.
Yeah, true.
So one of the ways that these people who are ghosters need to be told is, so one of all called out, as in just told, what you're doing is not good.
Yeah.
This is the effect it's having on this person.
Yeah.
Whether it's the person themselves or their friends or
their
a group
friends.
of, yes.
Yeah, and I think there's that space of just being advocates for your friends.
Yes.
Like calling out guys who are habitual ghosters.
Yes, yes.
and speaking on their behalf, because I think for the individual, there's just a lot of trauma that they're left with, and especially, let me speak as a lady, for ladies, I think there's usually that space of, quite a number of ladies, they could be still struggling with their self-esteem.
Yeah.
And so when they're ghosted, they're left wondering and thinking, am I not good enough? Or already if they've been battling those thoughts of I'm not good enough, then it's like an addition, or rather a proof that for real, you are not good enough, you do not match up, and that's why this person has ghosted you, or whatever kind of, mental, even anxiety disorder, or just different kind of mental health issues that somebody could be facing. When you're ghosted, it makes it worse for them, and you don't even have to be in any, like mental health issue, but I think just naturally, even when you're very healthy, even with a high self-esteem, there's something that ghosting does for you, you know, and by the time you come out of it, you've really battled, wow, am I not really good enough? Or am I the problem? Or is there something that maybe I was not doing that led to this person ghosting me? Like, you're really left with, this myriad of, questions, and most of them, almost you point it towards yourself before you now get to that place of realizing, wait a minute, I'm not the problem, This other person is the actual problem. This other person is and the issue, not me.
And actually, now you've said it correctly, because you see, now most people start thinking it's them.
Yes.
Yet, actually, you're not even the problem at all. It's not even about you. It's about the person ghosting.
Yeah.
It's an issue of their personality. It's an issue of who they are.
Yeah, poor communicators. Maybe they have their own issues that they're dealing with.
Yes. Even arrogance.
Yeah, and there's also arrogance.
Because there are people who just decide, no, I'm not going to communicate.
Yeah.
As you know, there are people who are like that. They're just horrible human beings.
Yeah, they are. It's true. And I think I'd love to for us to just give an advice for, there are those ghosters who they disappear in your life and then reappear.
Yeah.
Because now I remember, like, that friend of mine, like, he showed up, and then I think now for me, I have practiced my muscle of having difficult conversations, and so he shows up like, let's pick up from where we left, and by that point I had cried all my tears, I had dealt with it, I had made peace with the reality that, I am not the one, and it's okay. It's perfectly okay. So by the time he was showing back in my life, for me, I acted like, yeah, we cool. And, by the time we were having, like, just a nice conversation, I gave him the birthday gifts. And then after that, I was like, so how was the cruise vacation with your girlfriend, And the guy literally he turned pink. Like, I think it was such a slap on his face. He did not anticipate it at all. Yes. But I think for me now, at the end of the day, that opened a conversation of just letting him know, you know what, I know my value, I know my worth, and it's okay. We don't have to do this. I wish you all the best. And I think from there on, for me, I just cut off that friendship and relationship. Not cutting it off in terms of it was very mature, in the way that I ended it, but I knew that I had to be the one to end it, and realize that I'm not the one for this person. And if they don't value me enough to even let me know that they're in a relationship, then they're not worth me having them in my life.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, now you see the person who is being ghosted. If they are not able to deal with it like now the way you dealt with it, you said you had already practiced your muscle for difficult conversations.
I think I was starting out.
Yeah.
Right now, yeah.
Right now you are able to. You've practiced enough. You can ride the bike.
Well, let me not say that. There's something that love does to you. So zero confidence. I think it's an area you cannot come out and say, I got this or I've mastered it. No. I think there's still, we all struggle in our own ways. So I haven't still mastered it.
And actually something I wanted to circle back to is, you see, the thing about being told or being called out or being informed about what you're doing, it's not only for serial ghosters. Actually, from the beginning of when signs like that start showing up, like
the
for
inconsistencies.
Me, yes, I would think people need to be taught about these things from teenage, as in it's because it's a life skill. As in whatever, as long as you're dealing with human beings. Be cognizant of their feelings.
And be empathetic. Have some empathy.
Yes. And there are people who will say, I ghosted them because they started being very mean and nasty to me. But at the same time, for your own sake, it also helps. So if this person has started being this way, let them know, I am going away because you've done this and this and this. And at the same time, not being also a victim, because now there are narcissists who are very good at that. As in, once you tell them what they're doing to you, they'll know how to play back to your emotions. So you're not informing them so that they can convince you. You're informing them just as a matter of fact. As in, the actual fact is...
But you've already made the decision before that.
Yes, you need to have
now
your
for
stand.
Narcissists, you find yourself back in it again.
Yes, you need to have your stand. Actually, and if there is any reconciliation, there need to be steps about towards that reconciliation. As in, if you're willing to change, and if we are willing to give this thing a shot again, this and this and this needs to happen. So, because once you don't give that formula, the novelty will wear out, and it will go back to where it was.
Back to square one. Back to the same cycle.
Yes.
Of inconsistencies, or they disappear, they reappear, they disappear, they reappear.
And as I've said, men, we also suffer from that shiny object syndrome, where if there's no novelty, we tend to drift away and keep chasing fantasies and going down rabbit holes. So there's also that part where the person ghosting might they've seen another shiny object. And it could be even something different from a person, as in it could even be a project. I know someone who got a project car, like an old VW Beetle, and they got so engrossed in restoring it, they forgot about their relationship. As in, like, they would wake up and talk about it. Actually, I know too, because there's another who was restoring a Mercedes, and he had all these drawings and like, this wiring needs to go here. Now in the morning, I'll wake up and go to Inda because I'm looking for this guy who is doing this and this and this.
And that time the lady is thinking this guy has somebody else.
Yeah.
Maybe there's no...
there's actually no. And the guy, his mind is just there, because sometimes we get very excited about projects. Building projects, IT projects, whatever type of projects, because it's a shiny object. So there's also that part of understanding that also as a gender, for now speaking for men, there's that part of just chasing things and not being consistent. That's I think that effect we're calling the submarine effect, as in you reappear and you're very intense and then go away, then reappear again. And there's an unfortunate trend where now that becomes a habit for men, because when they're there, it's sort of normal and okay. Then it starts fading again, and so there's a lot of conversations that need to be had between people relating, people who are friends, about what are the expectations, not even just at what are the expectations, so that it doesn't sound like a business. But when you're experiencing conflict, or when you're experiencing boredom, when you're experiencing that something is changing,
communicate.
Communicate. How do we handle this?
I think both sides, for the person on the receiving end, so that you don't end up saying, there's that bit where you still get ghosted at the end of the day. But I think when you, as you said, when you start seeing signs of there's a bit of inconsistencies, or maybe your feelings are, kind of like getting ahead, and you're not so sure or certain about this as a person, being able to seek clarification on, are we on the same page, or, am I running a bit too fast? But I guess those are the conversations that we never want to have.
And you see, like, I've seen very many men who've been ghosted by girls they were trying to pursue. That one is a very big percentage. So, because now the question also is, so why not just tell the person, please stop this, as in, or don't pursue me, or although not that men will listen that much when you say, because if they want you, they will really try until they can see it's impossible. But I feel there is a place of good conversation where you actually sit down someone and tell them, I know this is what you're trying to pursue, but this is why it's
I'm not there. But I think also for men, I think being able to be open with that. Be clear. Yeah, because
not
honestly, as you said, you're in one shop in Dubai, you go to the next one, I'm not going to sit there and make an assumption that you're trying to pursue me if that has not been communicated. So for me, I always say my policy is, if there's no communication in terms of if there's no clarity, I wouldn't assume any interest whatsoever.
See, maybe the guy doesn't know how to communicate clearly.
But how am I supposed to know he's on shop 3? He just stopped by shop 1 and then now he's in shop 2 and shop 3 and shop 4.
That's where you throw the question of what is happening here. Who are we?
No, I feel like it's a really fine line, and I think for a number of ladies, for them they usually feel like I feel like it's not really so much unless it's a mutual. I don't know.
But you see, now that's where I'm coming in with. Then let both parties sit down and communicate their hearts out, as in. So I am seeing you around me.
Yeah, like if I continually show up, for the dates and whatnot. It's communicating something. I think that's something for the ladies to know. When you're constantly always showing up on those dates, it's also communicating to the guy that you're genuinely interested. And then when you disappear out of nowhere and he feels like there's a bit of investment on emotions, on feelings. Some of them say even financially. But at the end of the day, when you disappear, they're left wondering, but wait, you are constantly showing up on these dates,
and even things as simple as cordialness in conversation.
Yeah.
Because not everyone is cordial with you. So but there are people you'll talk to and you feel they have this cordialness with you, and it's as in you start feeling like, okay, this person maybe has an interest in me, or they call me up for things, or when they are in trouble, it's me they turn to, stuff like that. So I think where there are signs of something, it's good for people to sit down and talk to each other, so that one person doesn't fade away and then the other one is left wondering, okay, what has just happened here? I thought we were headed towards Mombasa, and the person now is Nakuru, going towards Kisumu. Yes.
Yeah. It's true. And I mean, I think just bottom line, as we learn this conversation, I feel like the bottom line is mostly, as you said, when you start seeing something is not right, because you can always tell that something has changed.
Yes.
Either we used to talk quite often, this person has begun like distancing themselves, or, they're constantly busy. Every time you call them, they're like, oh, I don't have time, or, there's something I'm doing, let me call you back, and they never call back.
Yeah.
So I think it's very easy to start noticing the little changes, but I think now it's up to you, to save yourself from, getting to that end of, being extremely hurt.
Yeah.
It's good to begin raising the conversation of, okay, maybe I'm the one who's reading things a little bit different, but I'd want to know, is there something that's happening? Because I feel like, you've kind of like distanced yourself.
Yes.
Maybe they're busy with work. Maybe they would just have like a genuine reason, or they've not even noticed it, and maybe it's something that they'd want to like rectify or improve on. It's only that they're not aware. So I think the place of communicating.
Yeah.
But I think as we learn this, the final question is, how do you move on from being ghosted? Yeah.
As we come to the how to move on, what you've just said, I think we can clearly call it creating an environment where a person feels vulnerable enough to come and tell you this is not working. Because there's also that aspect where sometimes people ghost because they don't feel like they can come to you because you've not created that environment of that mutual honesty, where an issue will be dealt with as the issue and not the person. So because that creates that anxiety and the avoidant, it's because they feel there's no environment. If I come to you, you will just shout at me, or you will shut me off, or you will, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So as I move towards this other question, it's important, I think, for all of us to know that being on both sides of the spectrum, there are things that we both need to be aware of and also to do.
What if that environment is not created?
So now that's why I keep talking about express your feelings. Express your feelings before you even go to the facts. That express your feelings to this person irrespective of how they'll take it.
Yeah, because you're responsible for your feelings,
Yes.
not how they behave or
Yes.
how they will even respond to
Yes.
your feelings. But your feelings are yours.
Yes.
And they're very valid at the end of the day.
Yeah. And expressing your feelings, it's so that you can come also to a place where this person knows what you're feeling. And at the same time also create an environment where this person can also come and express their feelings to you without feeling like they can't do that. So there's a lot of mutual, it's like a tango, as in both sides have a thing they need to do. Like, yes.
Yeah. So maybe you can give an example of expressing your feeling to like kind of like give a scenario or a picture of what that looks like.
So I would say because you can always notice when someone's energy about you is starting to dip. It would be good to communicate to that person and tell them, I'm noticing that the communication is becoming less frequent or more harsh or more formal. And it's making me feel like there's conflict or like you're moving away or you're drifting away. What is the case? As in, and I'm not asking to react in it. I just want to know what's happening. And it's okay to say you're not feeling this, or as in, let them know they have the options to be themselves and about what they're feeling at that particular point. And the interesting thing, and the weirdest example I can give is even in the Bible. This guy, Jonah, he sent to go and Nineveh to go and give bad news. He tries going to Tarshish away. They eventually gets back there through the fish. And after he delivers the message, he goes, sits down under a vine, like a tree, a shade. Then God dries it up. Then the guy is like, I am like, as in he was like, I am tired. Nearly, I am tired with you, God.
Yeah, I've had enough.
I've had enough.
Take me.
Take me. Buana, this is, no.
Too much.
And you see, that's a point of vulnerability where you're even telling God, by the way, I'm
having
done.
none of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
As in, so that place of feeling that like you can just say, be extremely vulnerable.
Yeah.
Because we assume also men don't feel that anxiety when
the ladies do that.
Yes.
But they
And
do.
yes. So both sides, there needs to be that balance of creating that environment where someone feels that way. And now to come to when someone ghosts you, I believe first it's important to head knowledge that it's not you.
You are not the problem.
You're not the problem. I am not the problem. Why this person is not picking my calls or it's starting to sound distant. I might have done something that made them react that way, but them not coming to me to just tell me what I did and how they felt about it is an issue. And I'm not talking about now the serial cycle where someone keeps repeating wrongdoing and expecting you to just always be there for them. Because that's a different thing now. That's narcissism and abuse. Here I'm just talking about normal relation where someone just starts fading away. 2 is gather the courage to clarify from them, either through text. I mean, if they're not picking your calls, they will get your communication somehow.
Text, email,
Facebook,
friends, whatever, something.
Yeah. If they don't respond
I like
to
that
that,
for friends.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the one we never consider.
Yeah, because it's
tell
important.
a friend, tell one of his close friends to go tell him.
Yes.
This is where you left me.
Yes. What's happening?
And I'm hurt by 1, 2, 3 things that happened.
Yes. And as in, extend an olive branch at first, like as in, come, tell me what's
especially when you're not able to reach them.
Yes.
Yeah, I think now that's an option for when when they've cut you off completely, you're not able to reach them, but you know a mutual friend who is able to reach them, then instead of wallowing in your feelings and all that, you can offload your feelings to that friend and let them take that message. Now that this person has cut you off completely, you have no access to them.
And if you can't reach them and if they become difficult, imagine just start moving on, as in start substituting.
Yeah.
Because the attention or the time or the energy that you are putting on this person, it can be substituted to something else or to someone else. I know people call that rebound, but sometimes it's not even at that type of relation. It could even be just another mutual relationship with someone else, like a good
Yeah.
friend.
Yeah.
We
Other
have
close friends,
other close
even
friends,
activity, or
even
I
activities.
think it's good to have like a good circle of friends, even your close friend. You know, I
Yes.
think at bottom line is the more you talk about it, the lighter the load
Yes.
becomes.
Yeah.
You know, I think also just being honest about it. You know, like there was this thing going on with this person, and they ghosted me, and I'm feeling horrible about it.
Yes.
I think the more you talk about it, the lighter the load is, and the more sense, you know, hopefully if it's a healthy community that's around you,
Yes.
the more sense they'll speak into you and remind you you are not the problem. Probably that other person had whatever reason
Yeah.
to do whatever they did.
Because that wise, as in seek wise counsel, as in talk to people who are wise about it. Tell them this is what has happened and this is how I'm feeling. They will be able to help you walk through it. It's usually like a valley of shadow of death, but it always has an end.
Yeah, it's honestly being ghosted almost feels like a mini heartbreak.
Yes,
honestly,
it is a heartbreak. I mean,
anyway,
everyone
let me
wants
not
to
call
be
it
wanted.
mini. Yeah, it's an actual heartbreak.
It is an actual
it's a form
heartbreak.
of heartbreak.
No one wants to feel like they are nothing.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, when someone ghosts you, it's like you do not exist. Like what do you mean?
You're invisible.
Yes.
Maybe you're not even. Yeah,
It's a serious issue, and
it is.
no one should go through that.
It is.
I believe if you're planning to just tell the person,
Yeah.
as in find a way of communicating what is making you go away. If it's anyway there are no feelings whatsoever,
Yeah.
just start saying, as in there's a drift, there are less commonalities and all that. And you know, have the difficult conversation. No one is holding a gun to your head telling you have to stay in this friendship.
And that's what we'll be talking in the next episode. You know, just learning how to have those hard conversations.
Very good
Because you can't run away from it. You know, for me, I
Yes.
think I've made that conclusion of whether you mention that you have no feelings towards this person,
Yeah.
they'll get hurt.
Yeah.
Whether you ghost them, they'll get
They
hurt.
still get hurt.
Bottom line is choose the lesser hurt.
Yes.
You know, and I think not really even the lesser hurt, but choose to do it in a more dignified way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Give this person their dignity.
Yes.
Irrespective of how you've started feeling about them, just give them their dignity. Because the fact that you came to them means there's something that you saw in them.
Yeah.
That
and leave
hasn't
them
really
as
changed.
valuable as you found them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And for you as a human being, that's also part of your charge, is to make the world better than you found it.
Yeah.
Not to leave broken hearts on your trail.
Amen.
Yes. So
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jay. Thank you so much. And that brings us to the end of today's conversation, just about ghosting. And I do hope that you've gotten at least, a thing or two. I think working out that muscle of having difficult conversations, which is the next episode that we'll be having with my very good friend here, Jay. Just about how do we learn how to have hard conversations, and how do we navigate that space of having difficult conversations vis-a-vis, just ghosting people or avoiding them, if I may say so. But thank you so much for tuning in today. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel at the 360 Perspective. If you haven't yet, share with a friend or two, give us a thumbs up as you continue to create even more interesting content coming up your way. But until next Thursday, it is a goodbye from me. See you.